So part 6 deals with the conduct of public persons in relation to this act. So I would like to start with part 27, clause 27.1. Every person exercising public functions shall comply with the code of conduct for persons in public life set out in the fourth schedule. So the fourth schedule will set out the conduct that a person, or specifically a person exercising public functions, should do in during in during the functions. So for example, they are to perform they are to ensure that they perform their functions and administers the public resources for which he is responsible in an effective and efficient manner. He is to be fair and impartial in exercising his public functions, undue preferential treatment to any person. He cannot use his official influence in support of any scheme or in furtherance of any contract or proposed contract with respect to which he or a member of his immediate family has an interest, nor is he nor a person exercising a public function shall not allow his private interests to conflict with or interfere with the proper discharge of his public functions or improperly influence his conduct within the discharge of his public functions. So part 6 also imposes a duty on persons exercising public functions to report suspicious contraventions of this legislation. In doing so, one must do it in the form of a complaint to the commission. And this duty imposes a penalty towards that person who fails to do so. A person who without reasonable excuse fails to report his knowledge or suspicion as required by this clause is guilty of an offense and is liable on conviction on indictment to a fine of $50,000. So that is the high end, um, the high court. Next, clause 27 and 28 generally provide for complaints to be made to the complaints to be made to the commission. These complaints should state its particulars, the nature of the evidence one will have to bring, and any particulars as may be described. Now, if you do any oral complaints as to or any written ones, the commission has a duty to put it into writing. This wants to put it. This must be done by the commission's employees. Clause 29 states that the commission has the power to reject the complaint if it is frivolous or if it is outside the jurisdiction or the commission, or they may be able to conduct an inquiry into a complaint. So if the complaint is frivolous, the commission has the ability to essentially throw it out, or or if they believe that the complaint has any standing, then they may um, proceed with the inquiry. As to clause 30, this is important. A person who knowingly makes false allegation or maliciously provides false information related to a contravention of this act is guilty of an offense and is liable either one, on summary conviction to a fine of $50,000 or to imprisonment for a year to both, or on conviction on indictment to a fine of $100,000 or to imprisonment for 2 years or both. So there's essentially two types of penalties. The lower end will be the $50,000, and the higher end, which is on indictment, which would be at the high court, would be 100,000 or imprisonment for 2 years. That is, if you're found knowingly making a false allegation. Of course, this has not really a conflict, but is tied to clause 26, which imposes a duty for one to bring a complaint. Part 27 deals with the power of the commission to require further information and their ability to conduct inquiries. So in this part, this empowers the commission to make independent inquiries and request further information for several purposes, including to determine whether any declaration or statement or registrable interest is complete and accurate. Two, whether any gift given to a specific person in public life is a personal gift or an official gift, and whether any person has contravened the code of conduct or otherwise contravened legislation. Note that any person who receives a request for a statement from the commission shall must comply with the request within the time the commission specifies. So if the commission requests that you bring request a statement from you in 2 months, then you have to comply with the 2 months time period. I now clause 39. This is linked to 31. I'm jumping ahead. But a person exercising public functions, again, public functions, it doesn't deal with private people, who without reasonable cause fails to furnish information requested by the commission or to attend an inquiry or give false information at this inquiry is guilty of an offense and is liable on summary conviction to a fine of $50,000 or to imprisonment for 1 year or both. So basically a penalty for failing to comply with the commission with what the commission asks of you at this inquiry. Clause 31 empowers, sorry. Clause 32 addresses the conduct by the commission of formal inquiries. So these inquiries that the commission does are to be done in private. The person under inquiry is entitled to be represented. So if you're the person who the commission who is a complaint made against you, you're entitled to be represented by an attorney at law or whoever you so choose. You may also be able to summon witnesses in relation to the inquiry. The commission cannot take an adverse decision against a person unless they have an opportunity to be heard. So if you um, were not able to attend for whatever reasons, they can't make, or if you were unable to attend um, for any reason that's not a fault of your own, or then are you want you weren't able to have any opportunity to plead your case, then the commission basically can't make a decision against you. Um, an inquiry, these inquiries cannot be commenced 5 years after the date on which a person ceases to be a specified person in public life, or say you were in government and you left office 5 years down the line, a case cannot be brought against you. So therefore, there's a limitation period in which a complaint can be brought against them. So clause 33 gives the commission the power of a judge of the Supreme Court to summon and examine witnesses. This summons can be done in any form the commission chooses. It can be served on a person by handing it to them or leaving it to them so they could come to you and basically give you the summons, or they can give a person who knows you specifically and they will have to give it to you, or however it may be brought to the attention of the person subject to the inquiry. The summons may be served by an agent or a person authorized by the commission. Clause 34 outlines the duties of witnesses summoned by the commission. So these witnesses that are summoned are bound to obey the summons served upon him as fully in all respects as witnesses are bound to obey subpoenas issued from the Supreme Court. So witnesses that are summoned to the inquiry have the same duty as though they'll be summoned by the Supreme Court. The clause makes non-compliance or failing to obey these summons an offense of guilt. An offense, and you'll be liable on summary conviction to a fine of $10,000 or to imprisonment for 6 years or both. So, for example, a person without sufficient cause, you've refused to attend, then you'll be found guilty of this penalty. If you attend but leave without permission, that is also another part of the offense. You leave without sufficient cause, refuse to answer any questions. or basically, or as the net was saying before, willfully insult a member of the commission. Clause 38, Clause 35 states that where the commission allows it, a witness summoned to give evidence will be entitled to expenses similar to that of a criminal trial at the Supreme Court. At, at the Supreme Court. So basically, the commission allows, if the commission wills it, then you'll be entitled to remuneration if you're someone that was a witness. The commission also has the power to disallow the expenses in circumstances it sees fit. So it is not a you won't be you'll be entitled to expenses even if you do go. It depends on the commission on what the commission states at the time. Clause 36 provides for the chief marshal to detail marshals to.
Okay, guys, we're going to come back to the integrity bill. We're going to get back to it, but we want to and we need to hear about this. This is something that I think Pedro and Peter. I see you asking questions that I believe we need to do an entire show on. Unfortunately, because of technical reasons, we missed Lynette's offering. But this is something I believe that we need to also do a series on. Mr. Franklyn, we need to do, I believe, a series on this. Okay. I believe that this is quite important, for us to do a series. What do you think about that?
I'm not too enthusiastic about the integrity of public life because it has too many outs. The thing that bothers me is that you can put your assets in a blind trust and nobody will know, not even the commission. I have a great difficulty with that because let's say you own a company that, or you were a major shareholder in a company that builds roads, and you put those assets in a blind trust. Nobody knows this is you, but you sit down in cabinet now and there's a contract coming up and they award it to your company. Nobody knows that you're involved in that company. If you want to be in public life, then be prepared to disclose your assets or don't come.
Mm-hmm.
What the government has done, they have watered down what this bill was intended for because the people were crying out that politicians were getting too rich. We had a politician that came into office as a pauper. He was symptom water stuck up his car. The marshals had a warrant for his arrest because he could not pay maintenance for his children. And then within 5 years, he had $5 million out of his 16,000 that he saved. 16,000 a month, and he saved $5 million. And so people say, look, no, we need to get this politician in check. So what they did, they put a whole bunch of civil servants, a whole bunch of things to dilute the thing. And not only that, let's say you're a permanent secretary, you join the public service, you don't come in here to do nothing like this. You got promoted all the way up. Now they're telling me that I have to declare the assets of my wife and my children, if I have children living at me that over 18, and let's say you have two children working at you like this, but still at home, you can declare the asset. But worse yet, if you are only sharing the house with your wife because you're only agreeing together, you know a lot of relationships like that. She don't know his business, she don't know his business, he don't know who her boyfriend is, and he don't know who her girlfriend is. But they live in the same house because it is none of them can leave because they sell up the house 99 daughter can get back house like that again. So they live in their own little corner. She ain't showing he assets. So he's in public life, he in trouble, They didn't take these things through. They just wanted to pay everybody up and to take the focus away from public officers and judges. Because right now they say judges are not going to be included in that. Well, a few of us made noise and they said, well, the new judges coming in will be. Because Dale Marshall said that in Trinidad, the court ruled that you couldn't include judges already sitting judges in there. That's not what the court said. What the court said is a case integrity commission versus the attorney general. Because they were saying that the judges, they wanted the integrity commission wanted to discover if it was in fact entitled to inquire into the judges, and the court returned and said no, because the judges' contract of service, their terms and conditions are in the Constitution. You would have to amend the Constitution to include them in the act. But you pass this amendment by an ordinary piece of legislation, not a constitutional amending formula. So you could not include the judges. That's what the court was saying. They said because you didn't amend the Constitution. Right now, Barbados has a government that got all 30 seats. They could amend the Constitution, bring in a new one. They don't tell people, because a lot of people in Barbados walking about the president got the Constitution. Because you know why? They passed one, they tell about anything. I was there in the Senate when it was passed. And I look, when you get a chance, go on the YouTube, type in 76 October 2021, and you will see my speech. And you will see, I tell them about, look, you know, you all passing the Constitution, I'm not telling about nothing. You know, you're not ashamed. And you take the same old English Constitution and dust it off and put a few bells and whistles, but they call it our own Constitution. That's what they did. But they did not tell anybody in Barbados that's what they were doing. So when you hear people walking about very short, there's no Constitution. Yes, there is a Constitution. I was there when it was passed. I was the only body that voted against it.
Wow.
Whenever I voted against it, I was the only body that voted against it. And I was only one of one senator I could defeat it. And certainly it passed in the lower house by all. I understand some MPs didn't turn up, but they had the required 20 in the lower house to pass it. So it was passed, but people did not know. So there you go.
And that's what they were going to. That's what they were planning to do with this. Just quietly let it go by, something that is so important and so complicated and so hard to understand. All that would happen is that Bajans would literally feel it, right? I see Lumumba is coming in. Lumumba is coming in, and I'm not. He dropped back out. But we want to thank. Okay, he's back in. He's back in. Let's see, man. Lumumba, you there? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm here, Marcia. You can hear me?
Yes, I'm hearing you loud and clear. How you doing?
I am great.
Listen, thank you for joining us tonight. Mr. Caswell is here and he's talking to his people and sharing his heart. This man is a general, you know. This man, Caswell Franklyn.
Yeah, I'm listening. I can hear it.
Yes, yes. Now, I wanted to know, you know, what do you say to Bajans? You know, what would you say to them about coming out on Saturday? Those that are on the fence, wondering if they should. You know, what do you say to them?
Well, what I really say to them is that don't think about just yourself. We are selfish people, and we just think about ourselves. Think about, you know, the generations to come. Think about, you know, what we have done and what we should have done. I'm not too familiar with that bill, so I don't want to speak on it. But all I could say is that, you know, there's a time that we need to stand up. Brother Caswell, I've been listening to him, and I think that he's serious and about what he's doing. And I think the people themselves need to just get involved. I mean, know about actually. Just come to know what it is, even if you don't know, because I don't know and I'm still coming. I'm not too familiar with it, but I'm still coming. So the fact remains is that if there's a brother that's out there or a sister that's out there that's trying to educate us and trying to tell us, well, look, this is what is going on. Well, I think we all need to take part in it.
Yeah. Sunshine Leon is saying, don't just talk. The time for talking is over. This is time for
The-
action.
Agreed.
Massive protests and demonstrations against this government. Yes, and it goes on, right? That this needs to take place in Barbados, and you're in agreement with that,
I'm in
right?
agreement. Yes, I am.
Yeah. So we're going to see you up there.
You'll see me and a few people more.
I'm not sure how many persons saw the Alabama, the thing that they had. Did you see that? Lumumba, the
Which
brawl,
that?
The Alabama brawl.
Oh, in Alabama. Yes, I did.
And the part of it that inspired me the most was that young boy who jumped into the water, 16 years old, and decided that he was going to swim to the other side to go and help his fellow brothers. You
Yes,
know, yeah,
that should tell us. That should tell us something. It's our time. It's our time to stand up. It's our time to stand up and fight. You know, we've been taking a lot of stuff for too long. We've been taking it too long, too long. And it's at that breaking point. I mean, globally, not just in Barbados, but globally, we are at that breaking point. I mean, how much more can we take? You see what
correct.
I mean? So the incident in Alabama showed us that black people all over the world, they're fed up. They had it. We're not going to just let you run over us anymore. I think that's the message that video portrayed to the world, that black people, we're not taking it anymore.
Correct. We've been asking for donations. So I just want to thank this viewer who sent a donation of $200 to help us to finish the paying for this sound equipment, which is $800. So someone just sent me, they don't want their name to be called, but that's $200. So we have $600 left.
Wow.
Right. So we're grateful, because all of us put our pockets in these things, right?
Yeah, and I would like to tell the people, just don't, it's not just about marching. I mean, these things require money. I mean, it's a reality. And, we want to see things done. So if we really want to see things done and we want to see things done the right way, well, then we have to put in. We just don't have to talk. We have to. It don't even have to be just money, but just your time. I mean, just do something. Don't just stand on the side and think that everything is going to be okay. We have to agitate. We have to.
you know what do you say to people who say, well, I want to come, but I feel like I'm going to be victimized? I get that a lot, that people say, like people would see me in town and say, wait, you're careful, wait till me I'm going to get you, girl, me I'm going to get you. What about those people who feel like, they're going to be victimized, so they don't want to come out?
Well, I could say that I would tell them that they're already being victimized. That's why we are marching. We are marching to stop them from victimizing us. And so, is this fair? Is this fair that I mean is throughout the Caribbean and especially in Barbados? That if you stand up, if you speak out, that something is going to happen to you. What can you lose? Seriously, I mean, when I think about it, I'm saying to them, well, okay, you're thinking about your job, you're thinking about how the people on your job may look at you, or what they may say to you. But if you know that what you are doing is right, if you know that, don't care how many people tell you that what you are doing is wrong, and you know that it's right. Listen, it can affect you. It cannot affect you. And this is the fear that this system have used on the people for so long, that is almost within their DNA structure. They want to do something, but they fear. And once we get out of that fear, once we if all of us march, What can they do? They gonna fire everybody from their jobs? I mean, seriously, so we have to look at this and realize that this is a moment in time that if we do not take advantage of it, if we don't take advantage, when the window closes, is not going to open again, and the window is closing, and we need to push it open. We need to push it back open. We need to. And I want to thank brothers like Caswell and yourself for really stepping up and showing the people like there's nothing to fear but fear itself.
Thank you so much, Lumumba, for that, because I know that's what there's a lot of that out there, and all you've got to do is to make that step, and everybody can come out. It don't matter the age, come out in your wheelchair. It's a matter of principle. It's standing for what is right. It's a matter
That's
of
right.
principle. Yes, go ahead, Lumumba. You were saying.
And I'm not, as I said, I'm not familiar with the bill, but when it comes, I see what is taking place. It's not just the bill, is everything included in it. What's the comprehensive education, everything is connected. That's what I try to tell people, is not nothing separate that's taking place. So when we dealing with one, we dealing with all. That's what we have to understand. When we dealing with the comprehensive bill, we dealing with when we dealing with the bill about the
The
pension bill,
NIS and the pension.
the
Yes.
NIS bill. We're also dealing with the comprehensive education. We also dealing with the vaccines. We also dealing with everything is connected, and we have to see it
Mm-hmm.
that way.
Yeah, yeah. The connection with it, and just it's just the way how people are being treated, and being feeling like we're being forced to do things, and almost like we're losing our identity. And I think that Barbadians are coming alive. They are waking up, and it's wonderful to see that this is happening. Kamhar is saying that when they understand that unless you stand up, yeah, when they understand, unless you stand up to a bully, they will grind you to the ground. You must confront bullies. You must confront bullies. Mr. Franklyn, a father came to me the other day. Is it a girl, nice Christian girl, came up in my Christian dance school and so on. But she came crying because somebody at school beating her and beating her in her head. This is a bright little child, normally gets in the 90s. But she started to get, her report came home, she was getting in the 60s. And I told her, I said, listen, your father is going to go and talk to the principal and to the teacher. And if after you've done that and they talk to this little girl and this little girl still beating in your head, you're going to reach back and give them one lash. Right? You're going to deal with them. And she looked at me kind of shocked. I said, I know you're a nice little Christian girl, but if you don't raise your hand and give them one lash, as Barbados would say, or lick, in Jamaica, lick them, they're going to continue to hurt you. And as this person said, when you understand that unless you stand up to a bully, they will grind you to the ground. You must confront bullies. And that's what this is all about. Okay. So on Saturday, Lumumba is going to be there Saturday, August 12th at 10 a.m. This Saturday, Massey Car Park. Bring everybody out. Bring out the whole family. Call the neighbor. Don't come down there by yourself. If you're driving, put the people in a car and come out. Those of you who are still giving, we need another. Somebody just gave us $200. And we have we're going to get that $200, but I'm sorry, my ear, but we're going to need another $600. Okay, so anybody, whatever you can give, you might not be able to give 200, but whatever you give is good. And let me put the
Whatever,
number of
whatever.
Go ahead. What you saying, Lumumba?
But what I'm saying is that anything the people can give. I mean, Obama ran his presidency. He opened up and he said, "Listen, even if you could send us 50 cents, you understand what I mean? $1. It doesn't matter. Send it because we need it."